here at the top left, the challenger from the team IM. He doesn't...
IM Lushira!
He doesn't get nervous. He doesn't back down from a challenge.
Yeah, this guy is a very calm player, always happy every single time I've seen him, but always very, very focused on the game.
Lucira. That's actually a really good drawing of Lucira. I like that.
Looks like he's sleeping.
Well, he has got his head tilted a little bit sideways. He's got a GSL logo on his face. It's been watermarked. Now, over here at the bottom right, a member of the team ZeNEX. He's kind of confusing. No one can solve him because he is a... ZeNEX puzzle. Well, for some reason, we didn't get any audio on that, so they ruined my joke. It's not. Oh.
ZeNEX puzzle.
Oh, okay. But all right. So, it is going to be a Forge first. Normally you can go Nexus first, but he just wants to play it safe. Also, like I was talking about earlier, sometimes you can cannon the backdoor expansion if your opponent goes hatch first and he doesn't prepare for the possibility. If you can sneak a probe in there and your opponent isn't really paying attention, which does happen very rarely, you can get away with that. Or if you're like Huck, and even if your opponent knows that he's being cannoned and you just put really good pylons down, you can still cannon it.
Yeah, that is the thing, is cannons are very versatile, and sometimes you can just brute force them in anyway. If you need to cancel, it's not that much of an investment. And just changing the mentality of your opponent that we keep talking about is really, really important.
Absolutely, and smartly, Lucira sees the probe, pulls a drone to chase it, and that is going to essentially stop any sort of canning that would go on. Meanwhile, Nexus goes down back at the base of Puzzle.
Not only was he worried about cannons, but you can actually block off the gas there. And as we were talking about in the previous games, you're trying to get that expansion up early because there's the high yield gas. If you can delay it for your opponent, every second just counts that much more on a high yield gas compared to a regular one.
Exactly. So the gateway has gone up as well. It finishes off the wall off. So no Zerlings can run in there until the rocks are broken down. Does buy Puzzle a lot of time. There goes the spawning pool. Now, I'm kind of curious to see what Puzzle is going to do here. He has been known to do a lot of awesome timing attacks. He's done this timing attack after a very fast Nexus, where he goes with just 4 gates and attacks his opponent very quickly. And he does it almost as soon as Warp Gate is done. He just goes very quickly, and if your opponent is going for a very fast hatchery, he can oftentimes die. But it's a very nice pressure move. He has been known to do that. On the other hand, he's been known to do awesome timing attacks with Blink Stalkers as well. His games against Sheth and Code with his Blink Stalker micro, those were incredible.
Yeah, that was a really nice timing by him as well. But we also have both the simulators coming up here for Puzzle. He's going to try to get a lot of gas out here and maybe go for an airplay like we saw in the other game.
Definitely a very strong possibility. Phoenixes are quite good on this map. The Void Ray, followed up by the Phoenixes, is also really good for canceling third bases. This probe over here just trying to check for a third base. The Zerglings, though, are going to chase it away. Cannon going up for Puzzle. He's just not entirely sure. You know, you have to play safe like this when you're playing as the last player on the team, because if you lose, it's all over. So making that cannon at the top of the ramp may be a little bit too precautionary, but got to play it safe.
Yeah, and he does have a lot of extra minerals right now. He did get out that first expansion. He doesn't have his core up, or excuse me, he does have his core up right now, but he hasn't chosen which tech path he wants to go for quite yet. Once he chooses that, we're going to see if he's going to try to invest a lot of his gas into a lot more tech, or just try to get out a few more gateways and go for his early army.
This is kind of the mystery time for Protoss versus Zerg, where the decision is about to get made. Is he going to go for a super fast Twilight? Is he going to add a bunch more gates? Is he going to add a Stargate? Is he going to try to do some sort of weird third Nexus? No, that's not going to happen. He's actually making another cannon. He doesn't really feel very confident about what Lucira is doing.
Yeah, this is interesting to see, because by investing so much money into...
He's actually making another cannon.
Yeah. That amount of cost that's put into those cannons is equivalent to another hatchery for Lucira. So Lucira is actually able to expand almost for free if he knew exactly what was going on here. Meanwhile, Puzzle is putting down 2 Stargates, so he's going to go for a lot of air units here. It's going to be interesting to see how this works against so many hatcheries of Lucira.
And the Zergling is going to come up here and see the cannons. We didn't get a shot at it, but the Zergling did run up the ramp, sees the cannons, and now Lucira is kind of in the know. He doesn't know about the Stargates, but he knows that something funky is going on. That's a lot of cannons. He knows his opponent is skimping on the gateways, although he does put up a Roach Warren, getting a very fast lair. I think he's preparing for a 6-7 gate timing attack. Wants to get fast burrow, wants to get that burrowed movement, and roach speed very quickly as well.
But he also got an evolution chamber, so he is able to get out the spore crawlers up early, which can help him defend against these air units as well as detect against potential DTs that could have come in. We do have an Overlord trying to come in to see anything, but it's not going in the right area. It's not going to see anything at all, but it was still worth the effort.
It was still worth the effort.
Yeah,
well, one thing he does see is 2 sentries, no stalkers, doesn't see any sort of gateway army. And again, that's a little bit fishy. So right off the bat, he makes 1 Void Ray and 1 Phoenix. And most likely he's going to continue making Phoenixes after that. What he's going to want to do is catch his opponent completely off guard. He knows that the Zerg player has no idea that this is coming. And if he can do that before the spores get out, he'll be in great shape. But it looks like he's actually going to go Overlord hunting, so he's not going to keep this hidden anymore.
Well, I'm not sure he's going to fall within the vision of the Overlord. Oh, he does now, so the Overlord's going to know exactly what's going on. The Phoenix are actually following this Void Ray, so he doesn't have to micro quite as much. However, he's going to kill it quickly. The secret is out. He does need to push in right now. Meanwhile, there are spore crawlers going up, 1 in each base, in addition to a bunch more queens being built. Looks like Lucira is going to be geared up to be able to defend nicely against this. He also has 3 bases compared to 2, so he can afford to lose a few drones. It's also, he knows that there's not a whole lot that's going to be coming from the ground quite yet, and he can let him invest enough into defending against the air first.
He's already pulling all of his Overlords back. He has no more stray Overlords, so Overlord's not really going to be a problem. That's the last Overlord is probably going to lose for a while. Nicely takes out the Creep Tumors with that Void Ray. Very, very important to slow down that creep spread, especially against this type of style. You don't want any Hydras getting in your base. Yeah,
those Hydras are going to come out very soon. They are very slow off creep, so they're going to be only defensive in the beginning. Lucira is going to need to get out a lot of Hydras and then a lot of Roaches later once the upgrades are finished to be able to go for a very strong play against the 3rd base of Puzzle.
I like this 3rd base timing. He's making it almost immediately, realizing there are very few ground units out. These Zerglings are going to come over here, try to force the cancel on these cannons. Maybe able to force the cancel on one of those cannons, but there are so many sentries here, this isn't even really worth it.
Yeah, he's trading a bunch of lings for a cancel cannon, not that big of a deal. The Phoenixes are running around making sure they pick off any sort of scouts that are going on. He doesn't want to waste his energy on the last one, so he goes over the sentries to clean it up. Use their water gun, wash off the Zergling mess.
Robotics Bay going up, 3 more gateways, +1 melee attack going up. We may see the Hydralisks come into play here pretty soon. We may try to do some sort of creep spread. Hold that thought. Here come the Phoenixes. He wants to see exactly how many Hydras there are, and
taking a few extra hits that he shouldn't really be doing. The thing is, there's not a whole lot of force coming out here for Lucira quite yet. This is just kind of an expeditionary force. But if he can scout that there is the robotics facility going up, the robotics support bay, he can know that there's going to be a lot of Glossi coming out here soon. He does need to sort of win the air battle before he can do any sort of really, really strong push.
Baneling Nest coming out here, as well as a macro hatchery as he takes his own 4th base. That one Hydra is very unlucky. You cannot really attack like this with Hydralisk without creep. He's basically just trying to bait out force fields, though, keep that sentry energy low, scare Puzzle into playing a little bit passively, playing defensively right now.
And I like how Puzzle went for those 2 early Stargates, got the air army up. He forced Lucira to stay in his base because they're so far away. And then he didn't really get any more gateways until after he got the robotic support bay up. He's making sure he gets the investment into that tech first so that he can get out the Colossi early, get up the extended thermal lances so they can actually fight the Zerg army, and then he adds the gateways.
Very, very true. Overlord's now going around the entire map, looking like he wants to spot for any hidden bases, wants to see exactly what the Protoss army is doing. Spire goes up, Baneling speed, Overlord drops, and that +1 melee attack finishing up as well. He's got a ton of Zerglings out. In fact, right now he's got 89 Zerglings, adding more Queens here, droning up just a little bit more. He's up to 74 drones, he'll probably stop at about 80 or 85. Once he's got those 4 bases saturated, then he'll, of course, just transfer his drones to whatever base is mined out to the next base.
Yeah, that's really true, but it's also interesting to see here that we have a lot of upgrades coming out here for Lucira. Meanwhile, Puzzle's not really investing a whole lot in them at all. He's still on 0-0 upgrades for his ground units, and that's really what he's going to be transitioning his armory over to. He's got these Stalkers out, and he is getting the Twilight Council, so he can start to get blinked right now. And then once that happens, he's going to need the upgrades for his ground forces, but he just hasn't invested into them quite yet.
Well, you know, I was talking about those Overlords earlier. Well, he actually just positioned them around the map, then sent Banelings to them. He's got 2 Overlords loaded up with Banelings. One's going to go into the backdoor expansion. One's going to go into the natural. Even though there's a cannon there, the Banelings will die on top of probes. Here comes the one at the backdoor expansion.
Meanwhile, he's going for a huge drop in the middle as soon as this distraction is completed. He only drops 1 Baneling there, but the natural expansion drops more. I'm not sure if he killed anything.
No, he burrowed those
actually
Banelings.
Got pulled away, but the Banelings are going to get burrowed. It is going to force units to get pulled in there later. Meanwhile, he's waiting with a very nice drop to attack. Not sure.
The cannon killed those.
Kind of a waste.
Oh, he didn't realize the cannon was warping in. He's going to try to drop some more Banelings here. There are Phoenixes, though. Does prevent them. They burrow, and this time there's no cannon. And here comes another Ling attack.
He is going to try to catch this one Colossi, but he knows that he's not going to be able to and does run away.
He's just trading supply right now to get mutas out. He just made 17 Mutalisks. That's a lot of mutas. And essentially right now, Lucira's got a maxed out army. He's got great upgrades. He's just going to control the middle of the map.
Yeah, once he takes out these Phoenixes, he's going to have the ability to do a lot more drops. As long as these Overlords do not get caught.
On top of that, he's got this situation where he's going to have basically unlimited money, and he's just going to remax whatever is appropriate every time he loses some units. And if there's no 4th base for Puzzle, eventually he is going to run out of money.
Oh, but these Overlords are going to get caught. He's going to lose a lot of these before they are able to drop the units. However, enough of them are going to get down. The probes get pulled, but a lot of Zerglings are going to get dropped here. Most likely be able to take down this expansion before the reinforcements come. Blink is finished for the Stalkers, so they are able to get in quickly, but there was a little bit of a misblink, so it's going to take them a little bit longer. Not any serious damage at all being done here by Lucira. But as you were saying before, really he just needs to free up some supply. With that supply freed, he can get a lot more Mutalisks. We've got 6 more on the way to join the
oh no
19 that are already in place.
Oh, those Phoenixes were not controlled properly. That should never happen.
And here the scary Mutalisk numbers are going to come across.
He's going to try to force the army of Puzzle to turn around repeatedly.
Even if he doesn't know, these Mutalisks are very maneuverable and they can actually get back for the main fight. He might lose an expansion, which is bad, but it's not game changing, or not game losing immediately.
Exactly. Here come the Banelings. Hydra's rolling in as well. Great force fields, though. He should have dropped those Banelings. I'm not entirely sure why he did not. But even so, he remains maxed. Every time a unit dies, he just immediately remakes another one.
He's got 52.
It's like he's cheating.
He's coming in right now.
And the Muta's going to come over here and try to catch these Colossi. More Banelings morphing in, 20 of them in fact. And here come the Mutas. There are so many Stalkers though. Here comes the Zerglings. Great force fields. Why is he not dropping? I'm not entirely sure. But even so, there are just too many units. There's no more energy. Mutalisks crushing through this army. There are 21 Mutas out in the field. This may be the end for ZeNEX.
Yeah, the swarm from Lucira is just coming in. It came in from all sides, and he was able to completely demolish that army. Puzzle did a great job of trying to keep a lot of those units alive and do the damage that he needed to, but he did use up all the energy from his sentries, as you were talking about, and then the Mutalisks were able to kill the rest of the sentries.
I like that celebration. Well, you know the other thing about it, I was saying, why isn't he drop, why isn't he drop? There were a ton of Stalkers there. He may have been concerned that if he dropped, he would have lost all of his Banelings.
Yeah, and there were still Phoenix and Void Rays there in place as well, so it would have been very difficult to do. I think he was just baiting the force fields. He was trading units that he could just immediately build.
He had a lot of Hydras, so once the force fields kind of fell, the Hydras still closed in. And instead of making the force fields in a way to block the Hydras, they were just around the army to block the Banelings, then the Hydras closed in. Everything came in. He had so many Mutas. At the end of that fight, he had 21 Mutas. Before that, there were even more out there. And unfortunately for ZeNEX, that's going to be it for them. Puzzle was their last player.
That is true. So IM is going to take the match 4-2, which is very nice showing by ZeNEX still. There are going to be 1-1 overall in match score. Pretty nice score in the Venus 2 League. There are 6 teams playing right now. I think that puts them right in the middle, seeing as they're 1-1.
Yeah. Well, I really liked how ZeNEX played today. They played it a good job. You know, they started out with Lion, or his new name, Suhoshin, and you know he did an all-in from the start. That kind of put them behind, but it's like they had a perfect plan and a strategy for everything that was going on. They had Puzzle as their anchor. It was a really good play by them, and I don't think as many people expected them to do well today as they did, you know.
Yeah, and Yoda pulling out some really nice strategies with those ghosts, if against the Protoss, if they are not prepared for you, you win immediately. If they are prepared for you, well, that's okay anyway, because they are such a useful unit in a lot of different situations. So I was really entertained by those games.
I was absolutely
entertained,
entertained,
take a lot
man.
of that home.
I really want to go back and watch those VODs. I wish I could actually talk to Yoda about it, but
Maybe.
I know if I don't talk to him today, I'm absolutely sure that our player Andy Slog, he probably knows him. He knows like almost every Korean here, so he could probably talk to him for me. And I'd really be interested in getting my hands on some of those replays, man.
Yeah, community demands some interviews from these guys. They are available, and there are more translators that are getting in place to be able to do stuff like that. The Koreans want to bring more content to you guys.
Absolutely.
So here is the score for today. It ended 4-2, as we were saying.
Yep. So True, his name has been corrected, took out Suho Shin, and then of course fell to ZeNEX Core. Yoda took out Core and Byun, tried his same strategy against Puzzle, almost pulled off, showed some great nuke play, but of course Puzzle edged him out, and there in the final game, Lucira was able to beat Puzzle, just overwhelmed with too many units, was very aggressive, showed his great macro style, and that's it for ZeNEX today.
That is true, and I am showing that they do have a lot of depth, bringing out a few other players that haven't been getting as much exposure in the GSL. That's why another reason why the GSTL is so great. You can see a lot more depth from the teams. Great example of this is Dong Regu. If they weren't for the GSTL, he still wouldn't be seen by the foreigners yet.
Exactly.
He's insane.
He is insane. I mean, he's not mentally insane, but, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to have an interview here with the MVP, which is, in this case, I'm not entirely sure who the MVP is going to be, who they're going to select. Maybe Yoda.
I think it's Yoda.
강동원 감독과 MVP로 선정된 최병현 선수 만나보도록 할게요. 네,
Yep.
벌써 두 번째로 MVP로 선정되셨습니다.
네.
정말 축하드려요. 소감 한마디 해주시죠.
일단
He said it's your second time as MVP. How do you feel?
그래서 좀 기뻐요.
아, 그러시구나. 근데 이번
It's okay.
경기, 오늘 경기에서 핵을
That's literally what he said.
궁금해졌는데요. 연습 게임 때도 그렇게 핵 많이 이렇게 준비를 하고 연습을 많이 하시는지.
네, 옛날부터 계속
Did you practice the builds that you did today, or was it something you just kind of did?
이번에 쓸 수 있게 돼서
He said he's actually been doing it for quite some
기쁜 거,
time,
좀 뭐라 해야 되지?
and I had the chance to use it today.
기뻤어요.
알겠습니다. 네, 오늘 MVP
the
하신
results made him
분들은
happy,
다
essentially.
아이디가 좀 독특해서 제가 잊어버릴 수가 없는데요. 요다라는 아이디를 쓰시는데 요다는 본인이 직접 결정한 거지 아니면 다른 사람의 의견을 듣고 결정하신
Why do you use the ID Yoda?
스타워즈에서 요다가 나오잖아요. 그냥 귀여워서 했어요.
알겠습니다.
그것도 그렇고 좀 아이디 좀 특이한 좀 주목받아요.
네,
You really like
알겠습니다.
Yoda in Star Wars, so
네, 제 옆에
that's
지금
obviously why
강동
you used it.
감독님 나와
Pretty,
계신데요.
nothing, too
네, 오늘 경기도
inspirational there,
역시
but you just like
신인들
Yoda. Who doesn't
적극적으로
like
기용해서
Yoda?
승리를 이뤄냈습니다. 근데 많은 팬들이 또 임재덕 선수라든가 정종현 선수라든가 언제쯤 볼 수 있냐 뭐 이런 말도 많이 나오고 있는데요. 도대체 언제쯤 볼 수 있는 걸까요?
항상 준비하고 있어요, 이 친구들도. 오늘 같은 경우도 제덕이 언제든 쓰려고 준비를 해왔었는데 무엇보다
constantly
1차적으로
training,
그 팀내일 같은
practicing.
경우는 우리 신예 선수들이 굉장히 준비를 많이 하고 노력을 많이 하거든요. 그 모습이 너무 예뻐서 그런 노력하는 모습이
And he
정말
said that there's a
팬들에게
lot of new
전해졌으면
players to
좋겠어요.
IM who are
그거를
practicing very
전달해드리기
well
위해서.
and training
이
hard, but
친구들이
they're really helping out the
임재덕,
team having
정종현은
these new
솔직히
players.
사랑을
It's
너무
very
많이 받고
helpful.
있거든요, 지금도. 우리 어린 친구들도 그런 노력이 여러분에게 사랑을 좀 받았으면 좋겠다는 의미에서 많이 쓰고 있는데 좀 더 관심을 좀 가져주시고요.
He says that
오늘 같은
MVP
경우도
and Nessie
임재덕을
are obviously
쓰려고
well loved,
했었는데
but he really wants the community
실수로
to appreciate these newer players
제덕이
because he
가방을
says they're very good.
그래서 제덕이가 이제 못 나가고 대신에 강호가 나가서 또 깔끔하게 정리를 했기 때문에 언제든 임재덕 정정도 준비되어 있습니다. 저희.
Instead of
알겠습니다.
Nessie, I put up with
기대하겠습니다.
Syrup for that.
네, 그리고 마지막으로 감독님 이번 감독님께 네, 마지막으로 감독님 참 2승을 하셨는데 승점은 생각보다 많이 가져가지 못하셨습니다. 앞으로 시즌 각오 한 말씀 해주시죠.
승점은 무의미하다고
What is
생각을
your
합니다.
motive for
왜냐면은
this season?
그냥 정경기를 이겨버리면 되거든요. 만약에 졌을 때 뭐 승점 따지고
I will
이러는데
win all my
다
games.
이겨버린다면은 그냥 5승
I
깔끔하게
think he
올라갈
means
수 있을 거라고
goal,
생각을
not
하거든요.
motive.
그래서 승점 관리는 별 신경 안 쓰고요. 모든 경기 이길 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다.
네, 앞으로 좋은 선전 기대하겠습니다. 네, 저는 여기까지 오늘
He says he's really gonna try his best
승리
for the
2승을
fans.
IM팀을 만나봤습니다. 이인환 캐스터 나와주시죠.
So there you have it. The IM coach is showing that he has a lot more players in his team than just the stars that you guys have seen in the GSL. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do for the rest of the season. They are putting out the newer players, so we've seen a 4-3 score against FOU and now a 4-2 against ZeNEX. But we know that they've got a lot more power behind them than we've even seen so far.
I really like it because it's like they're hiding their trump cards also.
Yeah.
Who knows what MVP and ST have been working on? Well, you know, they haven't been playing here. And I looked at them on the bench, and I didn't want to say it earlier because I thought I might be wrong. But I looked at them on the bench earlier, and they both just sat there like, I know I'm not playing today.
Yep.
I know I'm not playing. They didn't. It's like they didn't even bring their keyboards, man.
So here's actually going to be GSL July Code A round of 4. This will be played on Monday, and it will be casted by Wolf and QXE one last time. So the final 4 so far is Lenok versus Tassadar. That's a ZVP, and then Puzzle versus Happy, a TVP.
Yep, we could have a PvP finals at the Code A. That would be very interesting and very quick, most likely.
Puzzle showing he's quite good, but Happy is also really very good player.
I think Lenok and Tassadar will be an extremely close game. That's one that I cannot predict. Lenok is very, very good in all matchups. Tassadar, though, has shown some awesome all-ins. He's shown some great timing attacks, but also he's shown he can play in the late game really, really well.
Yeah, that's true. Tassadar, a little bit of a newer player, though, so nerves might get to him. Lenok, a seasoned player, but he's also very young and trying to balance school and playing at the same time. We also have Enes Hoso being the first... they're first in the group rankings right now because they are 2-0, and they've won quite decisively in both of their victories.
I am, of course, taking up second place.
Yep. Again, 2-0, but the games have been a lot closer.
Not that many. I mean, we haven't really fleshed out the group yet, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But as weeks go on and on and on, there's going to really start getting fleshed out.
Yeah, there is 10 weeks of the GSTL. It's a very long group stage. Everyone will be playing all the different teams. The next match will be on Thursday. That will be the Jupiter League, so it will be Slayers versus
TSL, I think.
TSL, yeah. So that'll be a really exciting match. TSL hasn't been shown yet, I don't think.
They actually beat Prime.
Oh, they beat Prime.
Yep.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys.
Friday, FXO versus FOU.
That'll be good.
And, of course, ZeNEX versus StarTale will be after that. That should be a pretty good match.
Yeah. FXO, again, needs to practice, go home and practice a little bit more.
Are you telling me this, man?
I am telling you
You're
that.
like, Wolf, go over practice, man, and maybe if you came out, you would have won.
Bring your headset home, you can cast from the house, keep practicing.
I'm just like laddering, I'm just like listening to Torch, doing radio commentary, I can't even see the games.
That's alright, yeah. But keep supporting the players, choose which teams are your favorite, send them messages, they love getting the fan support.
And I just want to mention, like you were saying earlier, ask people for interviews.
Yeah.
If you like to write interviews, somehow, if you're good at writing interviews, you probably have contacts, or if you don't, maybe even contact me, Wolf, on TL, and be like, I want to do an interview with this coach. I can probably hook you up with that. I'm serious. You can PM me on TL. I'm probably getting like 50 emails now. I don't even care. If you want to get interviews, they want to be interviewed by you, so reach out to them, and maybe you will be able to get an interview with them.
Try to find a translator.
Yeah, that's also true. You need one of those. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in to the GSTL. I am Wolf, and with me is Torch.